Vikram, please tell me about yourself.
Sir, I belong to a small coastal town called Kumta in the Kannada district of Karnataka. But I was raised in Pune, and after class 10, we shifted to Bangalore. And I spent the next 10 years of my life in Bangalore, where I started preparing for UPSC along with classes for my BTech degree. So I completed my bachelor's in mechanical engineering from BIT College. And
From BIT,
post that,
BIT.
yes, sir, it's BIT,
Okay.
Bangalore
Okay.
Institute of Technology.
Okay.
And post that, I already started preparing for civil service exam in the final year, and then I gave two full-time attempts, post which I decided to start working. And after that, I worked in various organizations, right from the private sector to the government. I worked in State Bank of India, then in Employee State Insurance Corporation, then in SEBI, and currently I am Assistant Commissioner of Income Tax under training, selected through the Civil Service Exam 2022 for the IRS Income Tax Service.
See, Vikram, when I hear about you in the last few seconds or minutes, one interesting pattern I observed is you are taking up jobs and leaving the jobs. Even
Right.
now, you are in a very prestigious IRS IT service and you decided to go to another service. So what is the reason that you are taking up and leaving jobs? And what is the reason for this multiple jobs in your career?
Sure, sir. So, as I had mentioned earlier, I had decided to prepare for civil services, and I had already joined coaching in 2015. And after graduation in 16, I had given my first attempt. But because of the fact that I was not able to clear 3 different attempts despite preparing full time, and because of the fact that at home it was mandatory for me to also earn while simultaneously pursuing my aspirations as well. That is why I decided to go for any job that that came to my way. So I initially joined the private sector, and from there I started preparing for other government exams. But at the same time, I had my passion in mind that this is something I want to do. I want to join the Indian Foreign Service, and that is a goal that I've been constantly harboring since the past 8.5 years, and I've been actively preparing for it as well. And in due course of time, I got much better jobs than what I was in the previous half of my career. So I joined prestigious organizations like SEBI, and currently I'm in the IRS, which gave me enough financial independence also, and also a certain work culture that I feel that I can work for the remaining years of my service. But at the same time, I feel that I would like to still pursue my passion of being in the IFS, and that is why I am giving my 6th and last attempt this year in 2023.
Okay. See, you were working in SEBI previously, before this IRS IT, right?
Yes, sir.
Why did you leave SEBI for IRS IT? If your dream is Indian Foreign Service, why should you join IRS IT by leaving SEBI?
Sir, I feel that after speaking to few IRS IT officers as well as few senior officers in SEBI, I realized that the promotion prospects in IRS IT are much better. Somewhere IRS IT offers a better career progression and chance to be in a higher decision-making role compared to SEBI.
What is the role in which you entered SEBI?
Sir, I was assistant manager.
You mentioned in the DAF also, right?
Yes, sir.
Assistant manager.
Right, sir.
Is that the best position to start with in SEBI, or are there better positions in SEBI than that, where you can start with starting point in SEBI?
Sir, that is definitely the junior most officer level position that any officer starts with in SEBI. But at the same time, there have been certain lateral entries as well. So SEBI used to have a recruiting policy where they used to recruit experts at the grade C and the grade D level from other services, including IRS IT as well.
So if you observe, as you're talking about the career progression here, you compared the career progression of SEBI with IRS, right?
Right,
Tell
sir.
me, and as an assistant manager, if you progress in SEBI, some people enter laterally into SEBI, who generally have higher prospects to go to the highest level in SEBI.
Sir, I feel that with the current organization structure of SEBI, So it's more feasible for someone who may come to SEBI through lateral entry rather than someone who progresses through the assistant manager level.
Okay. 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 Now we are talking about lateral entry here. Now there
Right.
is a lot of debate about lateral entry. For example, there are arguments that even in the Indian Forest Service, the ambassadors to top countries may not be taken only from the IFS. It can be taken
Mhm.
from those who worked in the World Bank or in the top corporate sector or who worked in some private organizations, consultancies, where they have good exposure to the country and the policies. And we can directly take them as ambassadors. Similarly, the chief secretaries or the principal secretaries of the departments, instead of promoting the IAS officers only, we can take somebody, principal secretary of health. We can take somebody who's an expert doctor, not only a doctor, who has worked in multiple hospitals, who has seen the ground level, who worked in the rural areas, or who worked in the health sector in the international organizations. They are in fact better because they come with the wide exposure. However, this argument is not really implemented by the government due to some reasons. Can you tell me, according to you, which is better? The way I said,
So I
the
feel
ambassadors, secretaries, the lateral entry. Don't you think it's better than keeping it only for IAS officers, IFS officers, or IPS officers, whatever?
I feel that we should have a combination of both career bureaucrats as well as talent from the private sector and also other think tanks because I feel that it will promote competition as well as enable effectiveness along with efficiency, which ideally both should be the goals of any organization.
See, are aiming to become an IFS officer.
Right, sir.
Okay. Now, recently, a few years ago, when US ambassador as well as the topmost person from United States, just below
Mhm.
the president, visited Hyderabad, they have tried the Telangana government, along with the Indian government, tried to remove most of the roadside stalls, relocate the beggars, and completely change the kind of buildings present in that direction, remodeled most of the buildings during the time, the last few months, painted some of the structures, gave a look to the entire path to which the embassy, the ambassadors of US are coming. They have given a very different look to that path. They try to portray a very different image than what actually is or actually was at the time. Understand? And the same thing happens at many places in India. When most of the president of any top nation comes to India, the path in which they go, India tries to picturize the path as if in India development is to the maximum extent. In India, there are no beggars. The picture they want to show is India has no beggars or India has no roadside stalls. India, everything is very new and developed. That kind of picture is generally portrayed. What is your opinion on India or state governments? It may not be exactly Indian government, state
Mhm.
governments trying to do that. What is your opinion on that? Because as you are aiming for Indian foreign service, I want to know specifically this from you, Vikram.
Sure, sir. I feel that when it comes to foreign policy, it's natural for any country to portray itself a notch above than what it actually is. And especially when foreign governments or heads of state, heads of government are coming, then it is one of the objectives of the recipient country or the recipient state to also draw in investments. So I feel that it is necessary to show a certain level of tidiness or a certain level of cleanliness that is required. So I don't see any harm in presenting it in a certain way, as it was even done in Mumbai in the recent G20 summit that was held last year. But I feel that when it comes to evicting beggars or people from belonging to the unprivileged sections of society, I feel that there is a certain degree of empathy is required, and it should be made sure that the next time the foreign government is coming, we should not have to follow the similar kind of policy of evicting the homeless people or the beggars. This is my stand.
Okay, so there's nothing wrong in showing a different picture than the reality, right?
Yes, in front of foreign governments, because I feel that attracting investments is one of the objectives on such tours.
Other than attracting investments, do you think there are any other reasons for portraying a wrong picture? Portraying a wrong picture.
Sir, I feel that attracting investments is a tangible goal, but there can be intangible goals like, for instance, improving the image of our country in certain Western circles, or certain intellectual organizations or think tanks might be portraying India in a negative manner. So that also can be one of the objectives.
See, coming to India taking lessons from other Asian countries, because Asian countries have one kind of economic atmosphere, and every country can take example of other countries for development. Now you compare Japan and China. Both of them almost have developed the post-World War II, both the countries, just like India. Almost all three countries started off almost in the late 1940s. However, if you look at the progress of Japan and China in the last 7 decades, definitely they were far better in terms of economic growth or GDP than India, though India is developing right now. Tell me, do you think democracy in India, one type of democracy in India, is a problem for such kind of, comparatively lesser development than China and Japan?
Sir, I feel that in case of China, it was a more autocratic structure that they followed right from the start, and especially under the regime change followed by Deng Xiaoping and currently under Mao Zedong. It has been a very autocratic structure where economic reforms are not accompanied by political liberalization. So that is definitely not a structure that we can follow in India. But in the case of Japan, though it was a vibrant democracy, the fact that it was a much smaller and more homogeneous society enabled Japan to progress much faster. So in case of India, maybe certain short-sighted decisions taken by the government in the past might have contributed. But I feel that because we are such a vibrant democracy and such a complex society, it is natural for India to have taken more time in reaching where we have reached, while at the same time having maintained our democratic credentials.
Okay, so tell me now, the next question to that, what lessons can India learn from Japan or China? Right now, what lessons can India learn from Japan and China? Or along with, tell me, which country shall we take as a better example? Is China or Japan's policies, which India can implement, which India can get inspired from? The policies of Japan or China for developing India, economically developing India?
Okay. Sir, I feel that in case of China, the fact that it's the infrastructure push that was given by the Chinese government in the past, the policy of state-led growth is something that the current government in India has also pursued, and that is something that we can emulate. But in case of Japan, I feel that it's more of the commitment shown by the average citizen towards the country. For example, the work ethics of the Japanese people, and also their commitment towards national building or national rejuvenation is something that has been considered as a model to be emulated everywhere. So I think these are two things that we can inculcate, but I feel that the Japanese model is much more sustainable compared to the Chinese model, because as we are seeing in the past year, the Chinese growth story seems to have hit a certain roadblock.
Okay, if you have to go back and look at the decisions taken by India, the major decisions taken by India, because you said that government of India has taken a short-sighted decision sometimes. You said that actually, your answer. Tell me 3 to 4 short-sighted decisions taken by India according to you that have missed the opportunity for India for growth.
I feel that as it was mentioned by Honorable External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar in his book, The India Way, I feel that we could have undertaken the liberalization policy much more earlier. That is one policy that should have been followed. So I feel that we had taken a very balanced approach, and liberalization could have been pursued earlier. Other than that,
that is something that can be done earlier. Okay, but what is the short-sighted decision? that you talked about. You
Uh,
said specifically
mhm.
short-sighted decisions taken by India. Tell me 3-4 decisions that you think are short-sighted.
Sir, I feel that one would be the freight equalization policy that was undertaken in 1950s. So that policy incentivized transportation. So it subsidized transportation so that companies or rather industries can set up anywhere. So because of this, let's say there is a resource-rich state like Jharkhand or Chhattisgarh. So there was less incentive for the industrialists to set up industries in those states rather than take it towards coastal states or well-connected states. So because of this, maybe the growth story of the resource-rich states took some time to take off because the industrialization lagged. I feel this is one example.
So government at the time, instead of freight equalization, what they should have done, according to you?
Sir, I feel that instead of reticulization, export subsidies could have been given, or certain tax breaks could have been given so that the industrialists could set up the industries in resource poor regions.
Like resource poor regions, like?
Okay, sir, I think I misspoke. Rather than resource poor regions, I should have said that the places where the infrastructure is constrained. For example, in certain forests of central India, or in the resource rich but infrastructure poor states like Chhattisgarh or Jharkhand and so forth.
See, you are specifically talking about Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. Maybe because talking about that because of their resources, but underdevelopment. Tell me why not only Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, but many African countries or many other countries also, where resources are available, more resources available, but unfortunately they are poor. The people there are poor. Why is this coincidence? See, if it occurs at single place in the world, we can call coincidence. Occurring everywhere. Take the eastern Karnataka region, take Jharkhand, take Chhattisgarh, take African countries. Where resources are very high, poverty is there. Why this is there?
Sir, one reason ads had been discussed in the economic survey a few years ago was that they had discussed this from the point of view of a resource curse. So it has been seen in few African and Latin American of resource richness. For example, in the diamond mines of Liberia and Sierra Leone, it has been seen that where the governments are not strong, so many Western countries and big industries they set up shop in those countries, and it becomes a very extractive mode of development where the locals are kept away from the benefits of the growth. When for industrialists come in and they just keep on extracting resources, it leads to environmental damage as well as alienation of the locals from their traditional mode of living. So I feel that in such cases, for example, in the African and Latin American countries, that can be mentioned as one of the reasons.
What about India? Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh.
Sure, sir. So I feel
the last 70 years, almost 70 decades of independence, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, high resources, but still poverty is there in exactly those places.
sir, I feel that
your Karnataka also, Karnataka.
Yes, sir.
The eastern Karnataka, high resources, but the poverty is mostly there in eastern Karnataka, right? Compared to western Karnataka or southern Karnataka. Why?
Sir, a few reasons according to me are the geographical inaccessibility of many of those places and the top-down model of development that is followed by the state, and that leads to a certain pushback among the locals, and that leads to armed insurgencies and Naxalism. And in other cases, we can also mention the legacy of something like the free equalization scheme, which has led to industries being taken out of that region. So even today, if we see that mines may be located in the resource-rich regions, but the industrialization is the industries are located in some other place, because of which the and the transportation is arranged by the state. So the industries do not take place or take root in those places as much as they should have.
Okay. And you're talking about Naxalism, right?
Yes, sir.
In India, few states have faced the Naxal problem. though central government is supporting those states to eliminate Naxalism, every state has come up with their own style, own method of eradicating Naxalism from their state. In such methods implemented by the states, their unique methods, tell me what is the unique method of Jharkhand? Tell me the unique methods of Jharkhand that the state implemented to get rid of the Naxalism in their state.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware of the Jharkhand model of eliminating Naxalism.
Okay. See, you are talking about Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand. In the last few minutes in the conversation, we're discussing about Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. Both the states are formed almost at the same time.
Yes.
Due to slightly different reasons, but almost same reasons. Okay. Now compare the growth story of these two states. Compare them and tell me which growth story can be taken as example for the states which may be carved out in future, just like how Telangana carved out recently. Which growth story? Compare the growth stories. Tell me which one has grown better than other.
Sir, I don't think I have enough statistical information to compare the growth stories of both states.
Okay. See, you are talking about Honorable External Affairs Minister.
Yes, sir.
When you are referring to one of the books written by him. See, definitely the present External Affairs Minister of India is coming up with very innovative foreign affairs policies, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, in the last 7 decades of independence, our foreign affairs are almost, though we are improving, our stand is slightly changing incrementally, progressively. Do you think the present foreign affairs minister has taken any drastically different step, which was not in consonance with the foreign affairs policy of India of last 7 decades?
Sir, I don't see any drastic divergence from the foreign affairs or the foreign policy that was undertaken in the last 7 decades. It's just that India has become more vocal about its interests, and because of the current geopolitical developments going across the world, for example, the Russia-Ukraine war and so forth, so they have given India more opportunity to raise its national interests in the international spectrum. So the vocalness has increased, but in many areas, the substance of the foreign policy, for example, the demand for strategic autonomy. So though it is not non-alignment anymore, but it is more of strategic autonomy, which has certain continuity with the non-aligned policies. So I feel there is more of continuity rather than change.
Okay, yeah, you said that because of the wars, we got opportunity to, claim strategic autonomy, an opportunity to think more of national interest. Tell me,
Yes.
in the Israel-Hamas war,
Mm-hmm.
I mean the war of Israel against the Hamas, in that war, for national interest, tell me 3 things India has done. Tell me 3 steps of India that India has done to keep up its national interest.
Sir, one thing that comes to mind is the balanced stance that India has taken. For example, India said that it will not vote against the resolution. It will not vote in favor of the resolution taken against Israel. So India decided to abstain, saying that it has not designated Hamas as a terrorist organization in India itself. So India cannot vote against the action taken by Israel. So that is one step that India has taken. Other would be to keep the aid flowing to the Palestinian, the UN Refugee Agency for Palestinians. So that has sort of maintained the stance that India believes in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and it believes that the Palestinian refugees also deserve human rights and access to aid. And one more would be constant reiteration of the two-state solution that has to be the ultimate solution for the Israel-Palestine issue.
Now, among the things that you said, Vikram, among you said, one thing is India has not designated Hamas as terrorist organization, right?
Yes,
do you
sir.
think it is morally and ethically correct on the part of India to do that? When India is forcing many countries to designate certain, organizations of Pakistan as terrorist organizations. And India said that they do not believe in the concept of good terrorists and bad terrorists. India continuously says that. So under such kind of framework in which India is moving globally, do you think it's right on the part of India, moral ethically, to say that Hamas are not designed as terrorists in India?
Sir, I feel ultimately foreign policy is about national interest. So India has argued for the fact that you should not designate terrorists as good or bad. But it's possible that India may not have. Again, I'm making an assumption here, but I feel that India may not have designated Hamas as a terror organization because Hamas has deep connect to the Iranian state, and designating Hamas as a terror organization might affect India's ties with Iran also, which are already under strain.
Okay, Vikram, you have done your BTech from Mechanical Engineering from BAT.
Yes, sir.
Mechanical Engineering. Okay. It's BTech, right? BTech, 4 years course.
Yes, sir. 4-year course.
See, Bharat stage norms has put some restrictions on. Can you tell me what are Bharat, first of all, what are Bharat stage norms?
Sir, the norms are related to the emission, the certain emission standard that should be followed by automobiles.
Yeah, okay. So automobiles, right? So particularly on the internal combustion engines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me right now, which stage India is in? Bharat stage?
So currently we are transitioning from Bharat stage 4 to Bharat stage 6.
Okay, in this transition from 4 to 6 transition, what are the restrictions put on the automobiles? I mean, internal combustion engines. I'm talking about engine here. Instead of the engines from Bharat stage 4 to 6. And why specifically Bharat stage 5 we did not adopt? We left that one. The reasons. And I want in the line of physically on the internal combustion engines of automobiles.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware of that.
Okay. You have done mechanical engineering during which time? 2000?
12 to 16.
12 to 16. 12 to 16. Yeah. At that time, Bharat stage, which was going on?
Sir, at that time, it was Bharat stage 4, and some vehicles
Bharat stage 4 throughout India? Even in your region also, Bharat stage 4 only?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware of that.
Right now,
in Bharat stage 4.
Continue. Okay. Right now, tell me, have you moved to Bharat stage 6 or still moving?
I'm sorry, sir. I'll have to brush up my information on that.
Okay. Do you know anything about the restrictions of Bharat stage norm on the pollution? Anything?
Sir, I know that the restriction is sort of limitation upon the emissions of certain pollutants, pollutants from the IC engines. More than that, I'm not aware of the specifications.
Okay. Then coming back to the automobiles, okay. What is the difference between a 2-stroke engine and 4-stroke engine?
Sir, a 2-stroke engine has completes 1 cycle of the crankshaft, while a 4-stroke engine completes 2 cycles of the crankshaft.
Is there a 3-stroke engine?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Have you ever got a chance to see 2-stroke engine vehicles?
Yes, sir.
Can you name some 2-stroke engine vehicles?
Sir, Suzuki Samurai is one of the 2-stroke engine vehicles. And even the earlier model of Suzuki, that is Suzuki Shogun, that is also a 2-stroke engine vehicle.
Okay, Suzuki Samurai. Okay. Do you know about the Maruti, the agitation of the employees in the Maruti, which has been notorious, very infamous throughout India? Are you aware of it? In the Maruti,
no, sir.
North India, Haryana. You heard something?
Yes, sir. In the place called Hisar in Haryana, in the Maruti Suzuki manufacturing plant, some agitation that had taken place, but I'm not able to recall the exact timeline of that incident.
But do you know the reason behind it?
No, sir. I'm sorry. I do not know the reason behind it.
See, in mechanical engineering, do you study about engines?
Yes, sir. We do study about engines.
For example, take the aircrafts, Indian aircrafts. Most of the Indian airlines run aircraft. Which company? Which company aircrafts are run mostly?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware.
Okay, okay. Have you ever seen the flights that Indian Airlines operates? No, Indian means any Indian Airlines company operates the flights. For example, the cars are calling as Maruti, Honda, like that. Airplanes, do you know any companies?
Sir, I've heard of Boing,
And
one
then,
of the manufacturers, and recently in the news, one more company I had seen. I'm not able to recollect the full form, but it was P and W.
okay. So Boeing, for example, do you think Boeing manufactures its own engines?
No, sir. I think the sourcing is done from P and W. I'm not able to recollect it exactly, but recently it was in news for some reason. Some engine malfunction had taken place in Japan, and
Yes.
there
I'm
were,
asking about that actually. So engines are made by which company for Boeing?
sir, I'm not able to recollect the full form, but I remember
Okay.
reading the term P and W.
Okay. Have you heard of Rolls-Royce?
Yes, sir. I've heard of Rolls-Royce.
Okay, leave it. Tell me the second law of thermodynamics.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not able to recollect.
Okay, tell me the principle on which an aeroplane flies into the air. What is the underlying principle, the fundamental physics principle?
Sir, it is Bernoulli's principle.
Explain it.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not able to put it in words.
Okay, but do you have the idea of why it goes, any vague idea? How aeroplane which goes on the track, runway, picks up, rises up into the air? I mean, what is it, the fundamentals, the basic physics working behind it that makes it fly into the air?
Sir, I vaguely recollect that it is something related to the air pressure that has to do with the difference in air pressure between the upper wing and the upper part of the wing and the lower part of the wing of the aircraft. But I'm not able to put it in words exactly.
Okay, you could not recollect, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are from Karnataka. You said that you are from Uttar Kannada in your childhood. Uttar Kannada, right?
Yes, sir. My roots are in Uttar Kannada.
Okay. So, see, Karnataka is famous for the badminton players. Are you aware of it?
Yes, sir. It's PV Sindhu and no, sir. I think I'll have to retract my statement. It's Prakash Padukone, one of the famous badminton players.
Okay. So, because of Prakash Padukone, do you think Karnataka has developed a culture of badminton? Do you think they produced any stalwarts of badminton?
Yes, sir. In recent times, we have seen stalwarts like Ashwini Ponnappa, also being one of the stalwarts of badminton. And there are good infrastructure facilities in Bangalore. And I feel that it has contributed to an overall development of the badminton ecosystem in Karnataka.
See, in Karnataka recently there was that law that the signboard should consist of Kannada language.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the law exactly? Can you elaborate the law?
Sir, it was a law which says that on any commercial establishment, the 60% of the board should be covered by the signboard in the words in Kannada, and 40% should be from other languages, let's say English or in the Devanagari script.
So, whatever it is, why there is hue and cry? Why there is hesitation against that? What is the logic of the people who are hesitating against it?
Sir, the logic of the people was that the law was not implemented in letter, and because of that, they decided to use force against the commercial establishment, who they accused of not following the law.
So why? I mean, why there are some people are not following the law? First of all, see, any law is not followed because of a reason that the law is not consonance with the ideas of the people there. Tell me what is the idea of people who are not implementing the law, who are not following the law?
Sir, one reason for the law not being implemented may be the poor enforcement of the law. But I feel that the rationale behind the people not following the law may just be that they did not find any commercial benefit arising from that. For example, in case of the supermarkets or the malls that were vandalized by certain fringe elements, the malls are usually frequented by people coming from all over the country and even all over the world. So they might have felt that it's for to cater to them, it is necessary to have more visibility given to the English alphabets or even the Hindi alphabet.
Okay, so some people, commercial establishments, the private entities, they definitely can do. I mean, they definitely will not follow the law if it is hurting their business, because for them doing business is more important. Generating
Yes,
revenue
sir.
is more important, because that only, in fact, increase our GDP also. Okay, so in such case, any law that's affecting the business directly, do you think it has to be revisited? I am talking specifically about this law, not about any other law. Do you think this law has to be revisited according to you, Vikram?
Yes, sir. I feel this law has to be revisited. It may not be practical or it may not be prudent from a commercial point of view for all the commercial establishment to follow this law in letter.
So we have to amend the law, remove the law.
Sir, I feel that it can be amended rather than removing. It can be made, the visibility for the Kannada script can be made less uh, compared to the visibility for the other scripts.
Okay. Tell me, the Hyderabad Karnataka region in the last 5 to 6 years, you know Hyderabad Karnataka region?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is the most underdeveloped part of Karnataka, right?
Yes, sir. It is one of the underdeveloped.
Tell me, in the last 5 to 6 years, what innovatively has Karnataka government done to increase the development in this area? I'm talking about economic development again. Vikram, are you there? Vikram, I'm unable to hear you. Vikram? Yes, unmute. Please unmute. You have to unmute. Yes, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Tell me 3 to 4 policies or acts or anything government has done to improve the economic development of Hyderabad Karnataka region.
Sir, one policy undertaken was to provide reservation to the candidates who have been domiciled in that region for state government jobs. This was one policy that I'm aware of.
That comes from the constitution or any state law?
Sir, it comes from the state law.
Any constitutional provision for this region?
Sir, it's Article 371J says that a certain developmental board has to be formed for the Hyderabad Karnataka region.
Was it formed?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware of that.
Tell me the provisions of 371J.
The governor may undertake an action to form a development board for the Hyderabad Karnataka region. This is one provision of Article 371J.
Other than the board formation, anything else you know? What is the idea of the Article 371J? Any specific provisions?
No, sir, I'm not aware of any other provisions of Article 371.
Okay, you open in SBI and state insurance also and SEBI also, right?
Yes, sir.
What are liquid funds?
Sir, liquid fund, it is used in the context of savings account deposits. So it is something that is accessible to the person who has invested or the person who has put his money in the savings account. So it is something that is easily accessible at a very short notice compared to a term deposit.
No, liquid funds. I'm talking liquid funds here. Liquid funds means it's kind of investment.
Sir, liquid funds, is it in the context of liquid mutual funds?
No, any kind of liquid funds. Where investment, you can invest and you can withdraw it within less than 3 months, 91 days. Liquid funds means that only, no, actually.
Yes, sir. So in accounting context, usually liquid funds is something that is available at a very short notice. And in context of any investment in general, so it is something that can be withdrawn at short notice. But I was not aware of the 3 month time window that you were mentioning.
Okay. See, you work in SEBI now. Tell me,
Yes,
when
sir.
did SEBI, right to SEBI following T+2 or T+1?
So right now it's at T+1, and we are moving to.
From when?
Sir, this was done from last January, 2023.
Okay. So you did not quite tell me about your hobbies, interests. Any reason?
No, sir. I might have skipped upon it, but I have mentioned it in my detailed application form.
Okay. Learning new scripts. Tell me
Yes,
how
sir.
many scripts you learned till now.
Sir, few scripts that I learned right from childhood, that is the Devanagari script, the English script, and I learned Kannada script at a young age. I learned it at home itself while I used to go during the vacations. So that helped me, despite the fact that I never learned Kannada as an academic subject. And other than that, in college, I decided to learn the Russian script. And then, as an adjunct to that, I also learned the Greek script because it was very similar to the Russian script, the Cyrillic alphabet. And then I also can read certain, or rather, I can pick up certain words from the Telugu alphabet also. And also, last year I had planned to go to Gujarat for a historical heritage visit, sort of. And there I had decided to learn the Gujarati script before going there, just so that I can pick up the
So
words.
you learn only the scripts or the language, the spoken language also?
Sir,
You
it's
speak
more
also?
specifically the script, the language. I feel that it requires more efforts to learn. And honestly, I felt that I was not able to manage my time and also do the other activities like watching movies or reading books or talking to the native speakers from that language. So as of now, I kept it limited to learning new script itself.
See, what is the point of learning a script? Generally, learning language helps you to communicate people. Learning language helps you to communicate. Learning script, how does it help you?
So when I visit any particular place, if I know the script, I can read the signboards. For example, the signboards on the public transport buses, or whenever I'm visiting a rural area, the signboards will mostly be in the local script itself. So I'm able to read that, and I feel that learning a script can be called as the first step to learning that language.
Okay.
The conclusion would be the learning the language.
Okay. So now you are visiting sites of historical importance.
Yes, sir.
Tell me the interesting historical sites that you visited in Northeast India.
Sir, I've never been to Northeast India.
Okay.
That is one place I want to go yet.
Okay. Tell me the interesting historical sites you visited in the Himalayan states.
Sir, I've never been to Himalayan states also. I've mostly been to South and West India. And recently I had been to Odisha and West Bengal as well.
Tell me any common historical sites that you visited in West Bengal and Orissa. There is commonality in the structure, architecture, or idea, or culturally both are similar. Any such kind of sites have you visited between Orissa and West Bengal?
Sir, I felt that the architecture of the Bengal temples and the Odia temples was slightly similar with what I had observed in my visit. But other than that, I did not see any such stark commonality between the architectural sites or
What
any
is
other.
the similarity? What is the similarity between the Orissa temples and West Bengal temples? Tell me.
Sir, the structure above the Garbhagriha, so it is in a cylindrical shape which tapers towards the top. So this I found this most starkly visible in the uh, Odeon architecture, but even in temples in West Bengal, I had seen this to a lesser extent. So West Bengal also has its own unique style of temple architecture, but up to some extent, I could see some Odia influence also. This
So
architectural style.
you're talking about above the Garbhagriha, what is the structure? Can you repeat again?
So
Above
it's in a cylindrical shape which tapers towards the top.
Is it
And
sharp? Is it sharp at the top or not so sharp?
so
Is
it's
it
not so
pointed or
sharp at
not?
the top. It's not pointed, but there is a kalash placed at the top.
What is this style called as? This style?
Sir, the exact architectural structure that it is called, I remember it reading it as Rekha Deul.
Rekha?
Rekha Deul.
Rekha Dev. You call this as Rekha Dev, this kind of structure?
Yes, sir. I might be wrong, but I remember reading it in the art and culture as Rekha Deul.
So who started this Rekha Dev type of structure in temples? From which time of Indian history? Or from which kingdom? Which influence started this?
Sir, some prominent Odia temples like Jagannath Puri and Lingaraj temple. So they essentially bear this temple architecture style, and it was constructed by the Somavanshis of Orissa.
So in West Bengal, why there is influence? Is the influence has influence moved from Orissa to West Bengal or West Bengal to Orissa?
Sir, I feel that the influence is more prominent in Odisha. So West Bengal might have had this influence from Odisha itself, because Bengal has its own style of temple architecture also.
So you mean to say West Bengal is influenced from Orissa's architecture? Are you sure about that, Vikram?
No, sir. Only this particular style of architecture. So West Bengal has its own temple architecture, the terracotta roof, the flat terracotta roof that is sloped in this fashion. But in the places that I had seen this temple architecture, so I feel that it might have been borrowed from Odisha. But the indigenous Bengali architecture is still something that is indigenous to Bengal itself and not borrowed, is what I feel.
Okay. The world's largest youth-run organization during college. Oh, what is it? AIESCC. What is this?
Sir, it is basically a European organization, but it is prominent in over 120 different countries. So it was formed post World War II, and the main intent of the organization was to enable more of cultural give and take through student exchanges, so that the world might not see another World War III, another World War kind of a situation. So it facilitates international internships for students and recent graduates. So there are two kind of internships. One is for the community development, that is working in NGOs in the recipient country, and the other is working in a professional organization in the recipient country.
So the idea of this NGO is NGO basically?
Yes, sir. It is an NGO and it has observer status at the United Nations as well.
Okay. The idea is to stop. Idea is to stop or to not happen to stop World War, something like that. I don't understand the idea of the NGO.
The idea is to have more of student exchanges, so that there will be cultural sensitivity about more and more countries, and this might enable the creation of a situation where there is, in general, more peace in the world, and it prevents a world war kind of a situation.
So which countries have you gone to as part of this program?
Sir, my job in that organization was to bring more candidates from abroad to India. So I did not actively
to Karnataka, to other parts of India also. Your job
to Bangalore, to specifically Bangalore, because we have local chapters. So there are 22 different local chapters in entire India, out of which we have ISEC in Bangalore. So that is one of the local chapters. So my job was to
to
go
bring
to
students. Okay, you bring students, or you bring employees, job holders also.
Sir, it's either students or recent graduates, people who do not have experience, but they might have worked in an internship in their home country. So they can come and get a professional exposure in India.
So which countries people have you invited?
Sir, I have invited mainly from Russia. Then one was from Kyrgyzstan. I invited two people from Egypt, one from Brazil, one from Colombia, and one from Indonesia.
How did you contact them?
Sir, we have a database. It is called isec.net. It is a database for all the people who have registered for internships throughout the world. So I can just type in the country and the keywords which job skills are they looking for, and based on that I can contact them, contact those
As
candidates.
you have seen, people from Russia and Kazakhstan. Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan.
Tell me the cultural similarities between the Kyrgyzstan and Russia.
Sir, few cultural similarities is because of the fact that Kyrgyzstan was part of the Soviet Union. It still uses the Russian alphabet itself up to a huge extent. And to a huge extent, Russian is still spoken and understood in Kyrgyzstan.
Russian is spoken in Kyrgyzstan.
Yes, sir. As one of the vernacular, one of the uniting mediums of Kyrgyzstan, because Kyrgyzstan has many different tribes, and they might not have a common language. So even in major cities of Kyrgyzstan, Russian is spoken as a language, the way we speak English.
Okay. And then how do you have you interacted with them, the Kyrgyzstan person nations? Have you interacted with them after they came to Bangalore?
Yes, sir. I have interacted with them.
Okay. What is the relation between Kyrgyzstan and Russia presently? Is it a good relation between them? Is Kyrgyzstan under influence of West or Russia?
Sir, Kyrgyzstan has the legacy of the Soviet Union, but at the same time, it is trying to carve out an independent foreign policy and also maintain an equidistance from the large countries like China, Russia, and also the USA.
India has 8 base Central Asia, right? India has an 8 base in Central Asia. Which country?
Yes, sir. That is in Tajikistan, sir. The Farkhor Air Base in Tajikistan.
What is the cultural similarity between Kyrgyzstan and India?
Sir, I don't recall the exact cultural similarities, but I am aware that Bollywood has a lot of soft power in the Central Asian countries, and maybe more in the Soviet Union era than now. But there is the Bollywood legacy in Soviet Union.
Okay. Trilophilar tours, okay. Common things. You are a state level athletics, you participated, right?
Yes, sir.
Your 100 meters. What is your best time in 100 meters?
Sir, my best time was 13 seconds.
When? In which class?
Sir, this was in class 10th. I started from class 9 and went till
class 10th, 13 seconds, 13.5 or 13 point, how much is it?
Sir, I'm not able to recollect. It was there was a decimal, to be honest, after 30.
So there is state level competition, state level, right? Under 15, under
Yes,
18.
Sir. It was for the school. It was based on the school level. So, for example, I was in class 10 when I participated. So I'll be competing with people from class 10 only.
Who is the current world champion in 100 meters?
Sir, it's Usain Bolt who is holding the record of 9.58 seconds.
No, present world champion. World championship, you know. The record existed before a few years. But who's the present world champion?
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not aware of that.
Okay, you don't follow athletics closely.
Yes, sir. I'm not following sports very
closely. Tell me any 100 meters race where somebody bet Usain Bolt, defeated Usain Bolt 100 meters recently in the last 2 years.
I'm not aware of that, sir.
Okay. So Vikram.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is the last one, right? Last one, services.
Yes, sir.
You want to tell me anything before I end the interview? And start the feedback later. But before I end the interview, don't tell me anything.
No, sir. I don't have anything to say before you end the interview.